Good afternoon, welcome to Rundlii Gaming. So we're going to be doing another video. This will actually be on the expansion of the Resistance. Normally I believe they sell to non-Kickstarter backers the expansion separately, so I'm actually going to do two separate videos. This one will be on the hidden agenda part of it, and then there's also the hostile intent. So there is going to be two different variants as far as like what I'll be going over. If you've ever played the Avalon version of Resistance, this is kind of pretty much that. There is another module thrown in, which I'll kind of go over that one as well. First and foremost, you'll have your commander and false commander. These two will both kind of look like Merlin. Merlin and commander are pretty much the same thing. They know all the spies, but must remain hidden. If the spies actually determine who the commander is here, then the spies will win, even if they lost the best out of best out of 5. So the Resistance commander knows who all the spies are generally, and that's the ability that they have. Then the false commander looks like the regular commander, because that'll be relevant for the next person, but for most intents and purposes, they're basically a commander for this particular thing. Now, the bodyguard knows who the commander is, but they know who both of these commanders are. They don't know which one's which. So throughout the game, these two may both look like they are the commander themselves. So when they go to reveal themselves, both commanders are going to put their hand up or do something to annotate that they are both commanders. But neither of these two know who the bodyguard is. So they might be playing their own little separate game where they're trying to find out who their bodyguard is. They kind of feed them information, but the bodyguard knows that it's going to be one of these two people. And then another couple people that they add to it is deep cover would not be known by the Resistance commander. Because when the false commander reveals themselves, they're going to reveal themselves with everybody else. So the only one that doesn't know who it is going to be the Resistance commander. Then you have your blind spy. This one is unknown to spies. So this is actually a spy that's kind of in the dark because they don't know who all the other spies are. The assassin is the one that gets the final say on who to kill between the commander, to find out who the commander is. So effectively what's happening here is you kind of have a little bit of a game going on. Normally in Resistance it's best out of 5 games. You play 5 rounds. Whoever has 3 victories wins the game. But there's a secondary game going on where, let's say commander knows who all the spies are, unless there's a deep cover in it, which we're going to ignore that for now. They could just go through and point out that person A, B, and C are all spies, and be completely right on that. And then the Resistance completely win because commander gave them that information, but at the end of the game, the assassin goes, who do I feel is the commander? They point out that person. Now the spies take the victory because they were able to assassinate the commander of this team. So it's kind of a little bit of a back and forth game. The bodyguard's basically just trying to determine which one is on his side. Once he determines which one's on his side, hopefully help bring the team towards the Resistance side. While at the same time, the spies are all trying to determine who the commander is. Just in case they don't win the best out of 5, they can still assassinate the commander for the victory still. So there's a couple different little things that are going on like that. The blind spy and the deep cover are usually, you can add them in or not. For the module itself, you do need these 4 for sure, because you need your false commander, bodyguard, and then your assassin. The assassin's not important. Usually what I do is just majority vote. Spies can just say, well, we all, for the most part, agree that it's this person, but generally, assassin just has the final say on it. If they say, I believe it's so-and-so, then, they'll win. This is generally better for a little bit larger of a game. I'll say at least 7. 7 is usually a good number. Baseline for it. You can still play with 5, but when the assassin goes to start killing people, choosing between one of three people is a pretty likely chance that they're going to get it correctly, because all they have to do is go, well, at least one other person had no idea what was going on, or they were saying a lot of the wrong people. So, maybe, unless you ran like a blind spy with it, because then you have another person who just has no idea what's going on. But if it's just like these four, you have one other resistance that's blank, that has no ability, and so they're kind of completely in the dark. Bodyguard is trying to determine between these two, so if he can find out who the bodyguard is, they'll know who the commander is. So in a 5-player game, it's not as good. In a 6, or at least a 7-player game, I think would be a really good setup for it. Then these two kind of add a little bit of different options as well, like a blind spy or a deep cover. Because a deep cover, this commander doesn't actually know who he is, so they're in the dark with at least one of the spies. And then there's a blind spy, which this might be helpful if you want to slant it a little more against the spies. Maybe in a smaller game that might be more beneficial. But this one's unknown to spies, so even the spies don't know who this particular spy is. But the commander does know who it is, so it's kind of, there'll be different little things that could occur with that. So that is the base part of it here. Now, another thing that they added that's different from the Avalon version is Defectors. And as I said, this is going to be part of the hidden agenda part of it. The Defectors will actually switch sides during the game. You actually have a separate deck. This is going to be 5 cards that say Defector on the back. Now, 3 of these are blank, and then 2 of these are switches. So like these particular ones here, the 2 Defectors that are in the game are going to switch sides. So if you're currently a resistance, let's say if you're currently a resistance, you become a spy. And if you're the spy one, you become the resistance, so you effectively swap. Now the thing with this is, the Defectors don't actually switch until round 3. So round 3, you draw one of these cards. Round 4, you draw one of those cards, and round 5, you draw one of those cards, and at the end of the game, it ends. So Defectors could actually do nothing. They may never change at all. Or they could change twice. Or they could just change once, and then the rest of the game they're swapped. So these ones can be very different, and could really change a lot of dynamic in the game. There are 2 different variants as far as the Defectors go. One of the variants will be that the Defectors actually know each other. So at the very beginning of the game, the 2 different Defectors are pretty much just gunning for each other the entire time. Because regardless, you know that other Defector is on the opposite side of the table. They're your opponent. Even if you both switch sides, they switch sides as well, so therefore they are still your enemy. So that's one of the cool things about that. Now with the other variant, with Defectors, so there's 2 different variants with it. The other variant is that the spies know who the Defector is. The spy Defector, not the resistance one. But the spies do know who the spy Defector is, but the spy Defector does not know who the spies are. Because if the Defector knew, as soon as he switched to resistance, he could just out all of his spies. So the spy Defector doesn't actually know who the other spies are, but the other spies do know who the Defector is. So until there's a change, they might side with whoever this Defector is, but once the change happens, they're like, well, he's no longer a good guy, so we probably should avoid even messing with him because he's no longer on our team. So those are different things to consider as you're playing through. But, yeah, so that is actually Hidden Agenda. So this is pretty much what you would get with the Hidden Agenda part of it. That is going to be the Hidden Agenda game, as far as Resistance goes. So it's basically Avalon. There are a few additional things, like as I said, there's the Defectors. There's going to be, for the most part, these are the same. Blind Spy and Deep Cover. But for the most part, it's a very similar thing to if you were to buy the game Avalon. I don't feel that this actually replaces Avalon in most ways. The Defectors are like the big change as far as I know of. I'm sure there's minor little differences here and there, but that's essentially Hidden Agenda. So if you watch for the next video, we're going to be doing one for Hostile Intent, and then we're also going to add in the promo that was included with the Kickstarter, which is the Rogue module, and kind of go over some information as far as what the Hostile Intent is, as well as the Rogue promos are. Thank you for watching Rundlii Gaming, and you have a good day.